honestly. And ultimately, you know, having the ability to pop the spooky popper and just have that additional damage from the ghouls on the map is going to be such a great thing for Zeta to have. And you know, the shield as well, just going to keep that survivability level high. And they do lack the aggression, though, and that is the thing, some control. I do feel like Rico would be the pick, but this is Zeta Division 1. They define the meta. It's going to be Carl yet again.
They love that mid-range presence. Of course, Chitampo can operate pretty comfortably in one of those side lanes and take those tools when he has to. I'd love to see if he gets matched up here against the Otis and how that all plays out. But we see how scary he is. Again, his record speaks for itself. Undefeated in sets on that pick, as I mentioned already. He's 7-0 now, so definitely something to look out for here. So how do you round out this composition for Chazmak? What are you looking out for?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I would like to see that Rico on the side lane. I'm a bit biased because it is one of my favorite brawlers here on Hard Rock Mine, but gem carrier-wise as well, okay, Max, aggression. Yeah, a little bit, and it can work really well in the mid, which I assume is going to be the approach here for Chazmak. So they're going to be lacking in range touch if they do go with that idea. But ultimately, I think there's a wise decision to make. Ultimately, against a team like Zeta Division 1, having that aggressive stance is what made them so successful in the World Finals last year. So, you know, putting themselves against themselves, effectively.
Gives them some disengage potential as well. If they see that flying hook actually thrown out, Chitampo start to approach here. They can back away, and you're a happy man now, Rico. And again, the sustain that he can get from Bouncy Castle in that side lane as well makes him so frustrating to shift. And he can obviously damage you without exposing himself to your more linear attacks from brawlers. So great pick up here, Chazmak, with some powerful brawlers.
I do love that rough span as well from Chazmak, because that's what I'm feeling would have been a great thing to have on the side of Zeta now. You know, having something of a wall breaker here would deflate some of that effectiveness, some of that controlling element that Rico brings on the side of Chazmak, and Gene is going to come in. And I do love that. I mean, it's very, very similar to what we've already seen demonstrated by Zeta, so they are going to be warmed up to it. And, you know, ultimately, there's a great amount of brawlers that can be effective in the mid here, but this is definitely an underrated mid on Hard Rock Mine. A lot of regions don't tend to use Gene here.
Why do you think that is?
I mean, in North America, they love Piper mid. In EMEA, they love, you know, the sort of 8-bits and Bell mids, but I love the fact that Zeta are going back to roots, and this is something which I've been waiting to see for a very long time on Hard Rock Mine.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Hard Rock Mine. Our second set begins now. Already some salvos being exchanged through the middle part of the map here. Rama taking a little lower. Yeah, Gero's going to be an absolute pain in the neck on that left-hand side.
Well, the Vision Gear being run by Kenji as well as the Rico as well on the side of Chazmak, and that's going to help a lot. One single connection on any of those shots is going to keep that visibility layer there, but look at this, hurling the sheep as Zeta are all clutched together in that bottom right-hand corner, but now some fight back, and it's the exact opposite. Chazmak now very much on the ropes.
Now, Kenji able to pick up a couple of those gems here. Chazmak have a lead for the time being. You saw there, the Otis just walked straight over one of those Ghosts and get punished for it in that previous fight. And Chitampo really trying to collapse that side lane here, just move into those bushes. Definite map control here for Zeta Division 1. It's up to Chazmak to find a way to wrest this back. Chitampo low, but there's the magic hand. Kenji at the damage boost, and there it is. Gero taken down. Now we're trying to get aggressive on that right side. It will be picked up. Kenji fancies a bit of argy-bargy himself.
I mean, Gero there really didn't quite cut the mustard, did he? I mean, just caught off guard, didn't connect the super, got pulled in with the magic hand. I think he missed the bouncy castle as well there, so definitely a bit of a miss, but still time to be able to redeem himself. The gems are split, by the way. Despite Zeta's dominance and their aggressive playstyle, Chazmak are hanging on.
Rama pops that super. He sees Chitampo get a little bit low. They do pretty well at dealing with him. They keep Rama alive, but again, that aggression allows Zeta to scale up their map control. Kenji now at 8 gems.
Rama's getting scrutinized here and has to heal up, but again, another missed connection there from Gero on that left-hand side. He does need to start to gain some of this utility and reduce the HP there of Zeta now, who are on countdown. It's not going to be over just yet. They're in a good position to get a reset potential.
Boy, Goku wants to attract as much attention as he can here. No eyes on Kenji for the time being. It's 10-6 in gems, and now some pressure-bidding plays on Kenji. Beautiful. He can't stay alive. Oh, gets in there. The super's got to get him out as well. He's getting out of dodge.
My word, Rama playing out of his mind. Beautiful stuff, the phase shifter on point of the super to get away, but will it reset? Will they reset? Oh!
Now he comes back off spawn though, and he's got 16 gems. Kenji doesn't have the mechanism to rest them back. Moya Goku having to play at range, but he's the only player left here for Zeta Division 1. The gems fall in enemy territory, and Chazmak gobble them up.
Moya Goku gets the takedown, but there's not going to be enough time. Beautiful stuff from Chazmak getting the steal in the final hour. You've got to admire that resolve.
You got to have some stones to go in and clutch those gems up like that. Love that play. And we see that sometimes on gem grab, right? When you give too much of that map control up too early, you back yourself into a corner and you lose your horde.
Got to remind as well that the fact that 91% of viewers watching on event.brawlstars.com did think that Zeta were going to clutch this very comfortably, but this is not proving to be the case so far. But positioning power so far in the mid is there. Garu couldn't quite connect that last shot from Chitampo, who's incredibly low. The survivability of that man, my word.
Chitampo is the blunt object here, right? Zeta Division 1 are swinging him at Chazmak every opportunity they have. But he has all the gems right now. Not the ideal gem carrier as someone who wants to be the aggressor, so he'll stay low in his own half of the map, but he's still alive. This is unreal. Walking the knife edge of Zeta Division 1.
There's 5 gems in the pocket so far for Zeta, but they've got to get forward, and a great mute there from Naui. The pickup there as well from Rama. Great stuff, as now Chazmak you can see their confidence. They're starting to get their flow, and Chazmak are just keeping Zeta back, and that's exactly where they've got to keep them.
In making sure their gems are dropped on their side of the map, though, Zeta Division 1 have given up a lot of that map control. Chitampo's the one that should help them retake it, but he's carrying 3 gems right now. Magic Hands there with a phase shifter for Rama. He gets a bit of shielding, 6 gems, and he's backing away. Chazmak are able to match this level of aggression. Chitampo's lying in waiting.
He's going to go in, Rama with the phase shift, not enough to do it, and the gems picked up, and Chitampo flying hooks away, and gets the steal this time. It's return to sender.
Love to see that. The protective pirouette means he can be far more aggressive. He lies in way in the back line, and now they're going to sit on this pile of gems. But Kenji's got to get taken down. Chitampo's only got 8 gems to work with. Still a lead for Zeta Division 1, but again, they need that map control back. Here's the magic hand.
Oh, 1 gem's going to go over, but they've got to get another one to get on countdown. It's 7 there, and Rama's holding forth. But for how long? Great shield there from Goku, and the resolve from the back, muted out as well. It's still time, and Chazmak have got to go on the aggressive.
Once again, Chitampo, not the ideal gem carrier here, but he's going to lie in wait in these bushes. Try and get back to his side of the map. Protected pirouette again, going to make him a bit more durable. Rama's trying to get into the cookie jar, though, and he's taken down. Chitampo is out of control. Now we're trying to salvage the situation, but it's too far gone here. And we've got a countdown for Zeta Division 1. Almost all the gems to their name.
There's a bit of time to spend there for the respawn, but Gero goes down as well. Rama has no super, has no utility, has no speed, and Chitampo should be home safe and sound with a bit of body blocking there from Goku for safe measure. Now he's the last chance, he goes down. A great response from Zeta.
These teams are leaving it all out there, straight out of the gates, ladies and gentlemen. A unconventional approach, I think, in that round for Zeta Division 1. They find that Chitampo's carrying most of the gems, but he's the one they want to use to try and get that map control. I love that ninja play, sat in the bush. He had everything he needed to completely derail Chazmak.
Okay, well, Chitampo's in a very tough spot here. 3 versus 1, and does go down. That's going to allow Gary to come from the right-hand side and keep that pressure on. I love the angle between himself and Rama, just keeping that pressure onto Kenji, who can't really do much until he heals back up now.
Couple early gems here for Zeta Division 1, so they can lean into this a little bit more. Gero needs to be dug out of this right-hand side, and Kenji, he obliges.
Yeah, again, another missed super, and that's going to be costly as Goku gets the takedown of Naui. Rama then on the left, and he's got to try to weave his way around to the place of this pressure, but Kenji with the ball, and Gero goes down yet again.
And again, Chitampo carrying the gems. So I'm curious to see how this is going to change the approach now for Zeta Division 1. Kenji gets a little bit caught out there, not much he can do. Now he does have super available, so they're probably going to try and 2v1 this Otis. The mute connects, but now he's not in a great position. Goku trying to stave off the rest of Chazmak, and it pays off. There's going to be a trade here. Chitampo looking for Rama.
Got to admire the awareness there. Chitampo just knows the flying hook in and just deflate that pressure, that push, and as quickly as that, they're back into the mid. And the gems at the moment are in favor of Chazmak, but I feel the confidence is growing for Zeta.
No doubt about it. Now we're really trying to posture aggressively here on the left. Gero just wants to hold Zeta Division 1 back if possible. The map control belongs to them. It's a very close game in those gems, and Rama's going to be very slippery. It's going to take a lot for Chitampo to be able to close the gap and wrest them out of his hands. Now we're living dangerously. Kenji has the magic hand up, and you can see Zeta Division 1 are looking to make use of it soon. There it is. Mute comes out, but there's no follow-up.
They got that control. Now they've evened out the gems, and Rama though has speed. He's going to use it now. Navi coming in. Couple of shots here and there, but not too much value, to be completely honest. And the pull connects from Kenji, and Zeta show us how it's done. One gem away from countdown, but what can Gero do on this bottom right-hand side to stop this countdown?
Not a whole lot, right? He's not in a great position to actually bounce these shots, so really his range is limited. Tampa, though, he has to get away. Flying hook used, but most of the gems are dropped. Kenji was carrying almost half of them, and now Chazmak get the countdown. They're able to find the one vulnerability on the side of Zeta, and it's 9 seconds left.
Rama is the one who's gets Tama going in, gets the takedown of Gero. Shield will only be able to do much. The shield is there, but he's got 6 gems. He's so low in terms of HP.
Now we got pulled in there, but it's not going to be enough, and Chazmak have done it. What a way to even the series. Turns out their bark and bite just as nasty as one another.
And you can see their jaws on the floor, literally in the arena. And this is what I wanted to see. It felt like Chazmak deserved that set. It felt like they could have deserved the set in the first set, to be completely honest. And now we are all level. And I think that is not where people expected to see this one going.
Yeah, pretty awkward though. Like, I want to kind of talk to you about this kind of split gem carrying that we saw a lot of the time from Zeta Division 1. Often by necessity. You know, Shitampo has to go in and pick up what's dropped, but it put them in some awkward situations where it was not one but 2 players that were at great risk of losing the lead for their team by getting kicked off.
Yeah, this was the vulnerability which Chazmak really exploited. And that, I've got to say, when Gero missed a lot of those supers, I was a bit hesitant to see how it was going to fare, but he hit them when it mattered most. And I've got to say as well, Rama was playing phenomenal. I mean, both of those countdowns were a result of the way that he was able to get the snatch out of the spawn and get running back into their spawn. Zeta Division had sort of egg on their face.
Yeah, not where they wanted to be there. Nice use of super there for Rama to be able to dive on in, find that elimination here. And yeah, I mean, no surprise to see Shitampo credited with many of these eliminations, but up front and center in the enemy's face, not where you want to be when you have 9 gems.
Exactly. Ultimately, the objective is where you've got to play, and that is a statistic which goes to show the aggressiveness of Zeta Division 1. But Chazmak were just able to get those clutch steals. Now this is going to be interesting. I've been watching Zeta Division 1 in scrims on Dueling Beetles, and they have been so fierce. I hope Chazmak have been scrutinizing it as much as I have. Poco in the mid here, they are going to be a difficulty to check, and it's not banned. Yeah,
a distinctive map here, but this is actually Chazmak's best game type.
It is.
86% win rate here on Hot Zone, so far and above their home ground. Let's see how they make use of that advantage, if it exists.
The first pick coming in for Zeta with the bans there of Stu, B, and it's going to be Gus coming in. I'm not surprised to see it, but they're not going to show the Poco just yet. Ruffs would be a nice one for them as well. They've had that a lot on this map in scrims. Squeak as well. Penny and the Crow band out by the side of Chazmak. Bell is a good first pick, by the way. It's a kind of safety net. It doesn't kind of give away too much too soon, and it is a very versatile brawler, especially with the reload gear now. It's really coming in so prominently into the meta. Gus, now Zeta want to get their hands on that brawler.
Gus and Otis picked up for them there. Moyogoku's been on Gus so far, had some fantastic use of the gadget Kuki Popper, right? As soon as that ghost gets generated on hit with one of his opponents, he pops it up pretty much straight away.
Haven't seen Buster yet today. I'm thinking that this could be the time to do so. Right. It's going to be a little bit of a later pick ultimately, because if there's too much wall breaking potential on the map, then that could be something that could then be a troubling thing. Rough spike, Chazmak. It's like they're reading Zeta quite well here. Like picking that brawler now, I think is a wise choice. Ultimately, one that would have really nicely wrapped up the draft on the side of Zeta Division 1. So, the sandbags especially, of course.
Gives you that staying power, right?
Exactly, yeah. Having some of that in the mix, it can just provide that time that you need on the zone to really trickle down the timer and make the most of the objective.
Open up some of those sight lines for Rama as well with air superiority, right? You do have some wall break potential if you want to go in that direction. And it's a very serviceable side lane brawler, if you want to take them there. Yeah, Buster, man, a curious one. I mean, that definitely benefits from grouping up, and so does Pam. Love to see that come in here.
Yeah, it's a very underrated brawler here. SK would use this a lot in the EMEA region. It's a difficult one to shake. Ultimately, normally left as a third and final pick. but you know, you get that defensive nature of it and the healing qualities off the back of it. And now Zeta are kind of feeling probably themselves, we need some healing here. You know, ultimately it's going to be very tough for them to be able to push when there's so much potential for Pam to dominate.
It's all about that staying power right now. That's not healing up. What is this? Again, the Carl going to be picked up.
It seems to be a staple diet so far for Zeta, but I mean, it did drop off the meta a little bit in other regions. But again, you know, this is one of those things that I love about the World Finals, because all the other teams are watching to see what everyone else is doing. And, you know, maybe now people are starting to realize, have they missed a trick with Carl? Have they forgotten about the aggressive nature of it and what it can do? And hopefully for Zeta, they're able to use that flying hook really, really well like they have been and go in and get that aggressive start.
Chitampa wants to start to get some of that first little capture progress down. All right, Rama, trying to give Chitampa the hot foot here with that gadget activation. Chitampa, though, pretty well unperturbed. Moyogoku really wants to close the gap on Naui as much as possible. Needs to look out for Scrap Sucker, but another gadget activation from Rama. But he goes the way of the Weary first.
Good start for Zeta, and the fat splatter is popped there by Moyogoku, quite obviously so, and he's going to place it down on the left-hand side. Chitampa going in and going to get that takedown onto Rama. That's going to delay the onset of these spawns, and already 40% of time on the zone. And Chazmak have really got to start to get into this, and that is a good way to start.
Now you do knock out a little bit of some of the protective architecture as the red side here, but Rama more happy to get aggressive and keep Zeta Division 1 moving. 49-9 already though, so Zeta off to an absolute red-hot start.
Rama so low there, and the Scrap Sucker didn't quite connect for Naui, so that's going to allow then Zeta to push forward just a little bit. Now finally some healing potential, but Chitampa spots it very early on, flying hook in, gets Gary taken down, and what a play from him. Rama quickly to follow, it's been Naui in a 3 versus 1. That is not going to help, but he's doing his best.
Yeah, look, Zeta are quite low here, so a bit of uncertainty about who's going to trade time on the point here. Naui decent range, of course. Scrap Sucker extremely punishing, and Gero has returned now. Nest egg thrown down here just in case the aggression comes. Chitampo's able to go around it, and the positive feedback's not enough to keep Gero up. Yeah, a great time to do it. He knows exactly where it is. He doesn't want to forget later on in the map, as now he then goes down, leaving Rama completely exposed as well. 60% now for Zeta, and pushing forwards with the shield pop there from Kenji. Gero is going to struggle because he does get the mark landed, but now he goes down himself, and this is going to be a tough spot. Zeta are still holding on. None of that cover left now for Chazmak as they try and hold their ground. It's going to be a healing station on the left-hand side, but Chitampa will not be denied. That's 2 eliminations there for the superstar, and Chazmak are getting run out of town. Moyogoku is spinning, and I think rightly so, because Chitampa was absolutely dominant, and I feel like maybe it's the time to start banning that particular brawler against this very team. Hands on hips there for Chitampa. He says, can't believe we're in this situation. We gotta focus up a little bit here after dropping that second set. That looked pretty dominant. So no take cover, no sandbags for the roughs here. It's actually that air support. He's just really trying to make it hard to stand in one place as Zeta up on that point. Early placement there as well from Rama, just trying to get some early time on the zone. And I agree with that as well. That's where kind of Chazmak didn't have the best starts previously. They do need to start that now, but the damage gears are in play. Takedown is there though also. Moyogoku low, and Kenji is going to be pushing now from the right, and now he's got to take care of that. He is so durable though, but eventually damage comes in from too many different angles. Rama now with the supply drop, and Chitampa wants to get in there. He's focusing Rama down so hard. Every time he appears, Chitampa was beeline for that rust. It's a great pairing, isn't it, between Kenji and Chitampa? You know, getting that shield in, and just in the right timings for Chitampa to really get the maximum value. But now we're already out of position there. Rama's muted out as well. The Cookie Bomber as well coming into play will keep him low, but that healing station from the Pam is now really starting to get the value it needs, and keeping that distance between themselves and Zeta is going to keep it standing. Chitampa going in here, very durable. Again, so much available. I mean, if there's a protected pirouette in the mix, he just cannot be taken down. Another 2 kill for Chitampa. Absolutely filthy. Disgusting stuff, it really is, and he's just on an absolute tear right now. Chazmak don't know what to do with him, so they're just kind of leaving him. Great pickup though from Rama, great observation. Able to notice that it was the perfect time for that kill takedown, and they've got now the high ground, starting to get ahead. They are in the lead with 1 minute 30 seconds remaining. Good turret, good healing station placement here. Rather, Chitampa doesn't care. It's another Gus Super, and it's another dive on him with the tailspin. Absolutely dirty. Gero can't even stand up, but now Zeta Division 1 can make up that deficit. If Chitampa gets super, it's a guaranteed kill, if not 3 back-to-back, isn't it really? It's just applying so much pressure. That's a great mute there from Moyogoku. Keeps there, the low, now he's so low, and the pickup is now 3 versus 1. It's just Zeta Division clearing house. Strong lead now for Zeta Division. Goku has another mute available. Chitape more than happy to trade. Blows here to try and build the super against the Gus Shield. He can't go in and follow it up, but it doesn't matter. Zeta had built enough of a lead. What a dominant showing on Hot Zone.
My word. Zeta just looked so much better, didn't they? They just, that map and mode, just for them, it's just like icing on the cake. They welcome it, they really do. Chasmac had a much better game though. We got to hand it to them. They did learn from some of their mistakes. And that is what it takes to beat a team like Zeta Division 1. They've got to hold on to that as well now, because ultimately, you know, they've got to harness it. They've got to remember that they're not invincible. They've already gained a set, but it's not over yet.
There's a chance that teams playing against Zeta Division 1 have to start banning the Carl. Protected Pirouette obviously reduces damage taken by 35%, and then the Gus Super Shield on him makes him, it's like Frank. Yeah, Frank running in there, spinning, just laying about himself there. That is absolutely scary to deal with. And, you know, Chitape wasn't afraid to run straight at Pam. She was on a healing field. She had Mama Squeeze. Didn't matter. Just run in there and find that elimination. He cannot be stopped when he has that supportive utility behind him. And what a dominant way to say, hey, we're Zeta Division 1. We're not playing around anymore.
Yeah, Zeta were throwing everything at that, including the kitchen sink. I mean, you know, there was so much potential in Chasmac's comp to really kind of counter some of those ideas. It didn't matter. You know, that is really quite a scary prospect, because now, being at this stage in terms of sets, Chasmac are probably wondering, what do we have to do? You know, I think for me, the time is now to start banning Carl. They're really kind of giving in to Zeta on what they want. They played it in every single set so far. Okay, they gained a set themselves,
that's right,
but it was a lot to do with the fact that they timed those kind of gem snatches when it was the right time.
There's some awkward moments with, you know, whoever was carrying the gems in some of those maps. In fact, that it wasn't Chitape that got picked up to actually give them the win. They went straight after Kenji, I think, on the Gene there. So Carl obviously still looms as a serious threat here. And we see like the aggression behind it, right? A lot of confidence here for Zeta Division 1. They want to come forward. You kind of mentioned you were glad to see Rama get more aggressive at the start of that last round on the roughs. But again, what does roughs do when that Carl comes running at it?
Exactly. It's you know, it leaves you with nowhere to go. Coming out now then into Heist, and this is going to be such an interesting affair, because ultimately the decision between the sharpshooters and the tanks, and Bell is that, again, safe pick for Chasmac early on. Saw bridge too far, but maybe you hot potato.
Yeah, and I think it is bridge too far. Potato was obviously the graphic that's being shown there, but that's fine. Let's talk bans here, okay? A lot of these longer range brawlers getting taken out of the mix. Piper, Lola being removed, 8-bit also not a factor now, as well as he can really safely scale those side lanes. Use cheat cartridge to return to that damage amplification field. And Colette obviously is just a menace here. I mean, time to collect allows her to get that free safe damage, really unpunishable.
Well,
you've got to ban it! You've just got to...
Deja vu, isn't it, really? Well, again, it's going to have a great deal of utility to get across the lanes with the flying hook, and that's the thing here, why it's going to be a great brawler to have as that first pick here for Zeta. You know, 8-bit, I think, is a wise ban as well. You know, the reload gear really bringing that brawl into a great place. Ultimately, you know, you can gain so much damage potential. Lola can scout those bushes as well. Piper, obviously, you know, with such range, a great thing to eradicate. Those later picks, I think B would be a good shout here, simply in the eventuality of a Daryl. You know, Bonnie coming in is not a bad shout as well, and you know, keeping some, you know, momentum shift. You've got to keep going in on the safe. It's great to have that control, but if you're not getting objective damage, you're not going to win.
Plenty of all-in options here for Zeta Division 1 if they want to go that route. Just sort of rush the safe once they find that they have that sort of brawler advantage. Bonnie obviously great in her modality. She's got pretty decent range, and when she wants to get her hands dirty, she can do that pretty comfortably as well. Chasmac so far with a relatively safe-looking draft. I want to see if they look to sort of augment Bell's sort of ability to hold the enemy at range. Or something up in your face.
I like it, I really do, but they've got to consider the potential of the counter now.
It's a pretty early tank pick.
Yes, exactly that, and Zeta have got that final pick, so I think they've got to pair this with B. I mean, that's just kind of my opinion, but you can get some really great value from Honey Molasses in that mid. It can actually, you know, kind of seep in and then cause a real problem, and it is going to be that. I do love this from Chasmac. It's a great decision.
All right, so pretty safe brawlers here for that long range, and then there's always the option for Daryl to get in there and get the job done. So here's the question for Zeta Division 1. Are you thinking much about trying to counter this Daryl? Is that a concern for you?
It's got to be a little bit, but Zeta are so aggressive, they might decide just to go aggressive themselves. I mean, Gale wouldn't be the worst of ideas here. You know, it is a great brawler to have against Daryl in the majority of heist maps, but ultimately they might want to go with something else themselves to be able to give themselves the edge. Otis to stay on that Daryl. Mute him out, just be at that position where you hold back the push. But I do like this from Chazmak. I've got to say, if they can make this work, it could go a long way.
Yeah, I mean, denying the ability for Daryl to get out of jail as well, especially if he's getting pressured down with that super. A pretty good answer. Again, there's a real theme to these Zeta Division 1 compositions, but this time around I wonder if we see the Carl played a little bit differently, because in terms of that supportive, utility, not there. There's no Gus here.
Kenji flying, hooking straight into that high ground. I do like that. Rama solo already, but the damage gear might help out there. And the juggling of the tasks there between Rama and Geru as well is why I just think the Carl pick is really quite a good one. Look at this doubling down the right-hand side there because they can't get to Kenji. Shitampo then choosing to come over himself, and I love this start.
Well, the Honey Molasses is a problem in the middle lane, so I like the Zeta Division 1, they adapt, they try and collapse on this right side, but this might work against them. Now he's encroaching. Kenji is able to get back a little bit there and put some pressure down, but Rama will approach as well. Forces Kenji away, but Moya Goku's going to work on the safe. He's got over
50% damage on the save so far. He's been unreal in this match. The damage coming in, great connection there from Naui on the Gadget side. It will bring things down to a little bit more of an even scoreline, but they've got a lot of work to do. They've got to gain that control that they've been lacking so far in this game. It's not going to be a base race against a team like Zeta. You've got to clear up those lanes, and you've got to clear up the scraps.
Shitampo in trouble, no super to get him out of danger, and now we're going to make the approach towards the safe. Moya Goku hits the mute though. They're able to pick up Naui. Now it's Gero. Iron Hive used. Gero just blocking some of that damage with the Honey Molasses that won't be available to him now. Now he's able to stave off Kenji, but look at the safe's health.
The difficulty is as well is that Gary's got to start to get that amplified shot connected to the safe and keep juggling that between player and safe. Ultimately, the B shots are not too effective. Oh, beautiful placement there on the nest egg as Kenji is caught off guard.
Yeah, Rama even marks Kenji just to make sure that damage is going to stick. Shitampo out of cannon right now. No Clyde to the body. And I'll be back up in no time. It's a huge lead. Moya Goku's threatening. He's something there to go right now, and he gets it done. Oh, you've got to respect that. Otis sneaking his way into your side of the map.
Zeta now one game away, and this is where the pressure is on for Chazmak. Will their journey come to an end, or will they prevail through? They've got to hit the mark now. No more second chances for them. And again, they can't be leaving team players from Zeta on that save. They can't allow for damage to rain in for free.
Cagey play through the middle part of the map here as Gero and Shitampo trade. Oh, I like that. A bit of extra damage on Naui. He's seen better days, and Moya Goku again wins that 1v1. Rama's in trouble as well. Positive feedback, not going to cut the mustard. Iron Hive there by Gero to make sure he lines him up.
Yeah, nice mute though. Will keep Chazmak a little bit slower to push forwards. Now he's trying to get into a good spot on the right. Rama coming through on the left as well, trying to find the angle there onto Shitampo. And now he's got a great pick up there from Gary from the mid, and now some damage starting to roll in. As now he rolls it himself on the right-hand side.
Really keeping Zeta Division 1 busy on that right-hand lane, so Chazmak can start to apply pressure by the left and middle. Gero, though, in deep trouble. Not much he can do about that as Shitampo wants to ignore Rama. He wants to push forward now. He's going all in.
Yeah, fast by the connection, but now he and Rama survive. Moya Goku's got to consider hitting this mute, and he's actually just whittling Rama down there, which is really great for him, but now he is lurking. They're ready and waiting for that roll to come in, and they're not pushing forward too far too soon.
Here's the double roll coming in. Mute does connect. Now he's low, and it's going to be picked up. Note here that Chazmak have a slim lead, 2% on safe health. Zeta Division 1 want to try and find a way to approach, but Rama staves Moya Goku off again.
Yeah, this is much better, honestly, from Chazmak. They're just taking it a bit slower and working their way through the problems with Shitampo. Is that problem right now? Kenji picking up the slack as now he has got to finalize this lane.
Kenji out in the open there, no chance to get back to his side of the map. It is a slim lead for Zeta Division 1, but a lead all the same. Rama getting the better of this lane assignment. Moya Goku really would prefer to deal with Naui. He needs to not get too close to that safe. The damage is bouncing, and now he goes in, pushing on the right-hand side. He finds two.
I love this so far from Chazmak. They're just keeping Moya Goku low, but not allowing him to respawn, but just keeping him out of the game. And Shitampo jumps in, clears out Rama. Geru's very low here, but he gets a very important kill at 25 seconds on the clock.
That's a huge lineup, denying Zeta Division the chance to push up here. Kenji doesn't really have the range. He's going to have to put himself in danger if he wants to affect that safe. But Gero's really feeling the brunt of that damage now from the Carl. And Moya Goku approaches through the mid. We're down to 10 seconds, but Shitampo's down.
Rama picks up the kill on the left-hand side, allowing him to get damage now. It's not enough time in field for Zane's division. Shazmak with a lifeline. Great stuff from them, and they learned from their previous mistakes.
Shazmak Gaming EU refused to go home out like that. Hanging on there, some lane swaps. They're trying to get sort of slightly better matchups, and you see as soon as Daryl doesn't have to go up against the Otis, he's able to find his single, these double eliminations there and start to close the gap.
Great stuff, honestly. It's so close. Imagine if we go to the 5th and final set on this one. I would love for nothing more to kick us off, but kicking us off in terms of damage so far, Goku in that mid, and that was the very man that in that first round, he was the one that got it down to 50% early on. Shazmak cannot afford at this stage to get back into those bad habits.
Nice work by Rama, helping Naui out there as against that Division 1. Try and double team the Daryl. It doesn't work out this time. With that respect, Goku coming back off respawn. What's happening on the other side of the map? Tampa with the range, pressuring down the safe.
Marked up as well though, and that will be a concern for him. Now healing up a little bit. Oh, beautiful! Amplified shot. Great stuff there from Geru. And Kenji just popping all of the Nestex. Great value there despite going down.
Yeah, love that idea. Obviously, only a limited number of those that Bell can bring into a round. Maybe only one left here for Rama. Getting cleaned up in a big way now, clearing the way through the mid. Zeta still have that lead. They're able to recruit early thanks to Tampo with the solo pressure.
Kenji has that damage gear now, but choosing to heal forwards. Not there, a good decision because now he's rolling in. Chooses better Robic trying to bait his way forwards. He is in a difficult spot here, but then again, the damage is still going to keep Zane's Division 1 in this lead, and the pressure surely mounting. Shazmak maybe just gave them a little bit too much too soon.
The little preempted from now. He wasn't quite close enough to get the most value out of his shots there, and he ends up falling before he gets to the safe. Again, the double collapse onto the right side lane, and we might be in all-in territory now, Ark.
Disaster for Shazmak. They've got to deal with this, and now he's the only one who can so far. They need to make a decision quick as the damage continues to rain in. It's 25% remaining now. Rama's doing his thing, but they don't deal with this problem. It's all over.
Now he's trying to stay alive, trying to keep the pride of Poland alive in the World Finals. But it's such a tough hill to climb now. Now he's hit with the mute. He's going to be forced back. Honey Molasses not bothering Zeta Division 1 too much. They're starting to make their final approach.
4% left, just a couple of shots, and Kenji flying. Oh, there it is from Shatampo. The killing blow. And Zane's Division 1 proceed forwards and send Shazmak home.
Perhaps not as clean a start as Zeta Division 1 would have wanted, but you can attribute that to the pluckiness of Shazmak Gaming EU, the number 6 seed from EMEA. Shock Zeta Division 1, sneaking away with one of those sets and refusing to back down. You love to see that. Already a big test for Zeta Division 1 at the start of the World Finals arc.
I really feel like everyone at home right now has admired the way that Shazmak Gaming approached that game. I mean, they really made Zeta Division 1 work for it. They did not give it to them easy. That was a match that could have well gone to a 5th final set, in honesty. And, you know, by far a separation from that 91 to 9% poll that we had at event.brawlstars.com. They did great. Just a couple of mistakes too early, I felt, in Heist, and Zeta capitalized.
Now again, Goku, of course, Shatampo, a lot of damage being dealt in a round like that, of course, as it is constant fighting. But it's that adaptation made by Zeta Division 1, right? We double down on that right side lane. We try and make it so Daryl can never get close enough to get that insta-kill or to find those early eliminations. Very, very hard for Shazmak to get value out of their pick, although we love it. We love to see that. It gives you great all-in potential. And that last round, Shatampo starts off by just all-inning, just going straight down that right side lane and getting a ton of early damage. Very respectable showing here from Shazmak Gaming EU, but sadly, their run ends here.
Sadly so. I mean, again, I don't feel like people expected that much from them in all honesty, just based upon the fact that they were the number 6 seed. Sure. But they look today like a number 2, like a number 1 seed. It's Zeta Division 1, you know? You don't see matches like that normally when the seeds are so far apart. I think they did tremendously well. Zeta Division 1, though, again, just kept the pressure on. You know, they forced the decision-making from Shazmak. They just kept going and doubling down those lanes, and you know, Shazmak just felt a little bit unnerved by that. They couldn't really determine what they were going to do and how.
So how was your prediction? Did you go well? I think we were correct on ours. You can head over to event.brawlstars.com and make your own. If you missed that first match, don't worry. You've got plenty of time to make your way, of course, that fantastic Tara skin. Get your predictions in for that next match and have a chance to vote on your MVP. a lot of candidates, in my opinion, on the Zeta Division 1 side. 3 of them, in fact, as we saw fantastic play across that entire team. The Carl, I think, was a recurring theme in those first couple of maps, right? I think that might be a big storyline already emerging here on day 1.
Yeah, like I said, teams and players are watching with eagle eyes as to what everyone across the regions are doing. And that is a brawler which we have not seen massive play rates for, in all honesty, recently. And now Zeta's showing us that it's still very much in the forefront of their meta.
Here is your bracket again with our first match finalized. Zeta Division 1 advanced to the quarterfinals. They will await the winner of EMEA number 2, Reply Totem, and NA and LATAM North number 2, Vatra Gaming. Another incredible matchup on hand for us here. 2 teams that are really very stylistically similar.
When you look at their journey throughout this year, very, very similar, very mirrored. You know, both of these 2 teams took a little bit of time to get into their flow, and that was noticeable. But when they got into their flow, you know, it happened towards the later stages, which brings us to the World Finals. So coming in, they really are both at that stage in their careers where everything seems to be going right. I mean, for Vatra, there's a little bit less LAN experience. Reply Totem really have that advantage.
Sure.
So a lot of people siding with Reply Totem, but I do feel like Vatra are a team that many are underestimating, and I feel like they really shouldn't. They are doing so well.
Based on what we've seen from them in their home region, they're not underdogs. There's probably no matchup really outside of it going up against Zeta Division where you could maybe consider them to be underdogs. They will be taking on Zeta Division 1 if they're able to get a win in that next game. I mean, Reply Totem, really exciting team, of course. Queso Cup win has been incredible. Peter Jack, the coach of this team, said, we think Totem actually have a really similar style to us. Very aggressive, really in your face. And Inso actually agrees with that, coach of Reply Totem. In fact, Inso said, you know, out of all the teams we had to go up against, I'd really prefer it not be Vatra, just because that's the kind of style we like to own. And when we have to go up against a team that's so similar, I mean, anything could happen. Really hard to predict.
It's great to hear that, isn't it? Because it really does send a lot of merit to the fact that these 2 teams are so similar. And today they're going to have to find the areas where they are not and expose them and really knuckle down for this one. Ultimately, I've loved to watch both of the 2 teams' journeys throughout this year. This is such a great example of growth. And that is something that, you know, coming into the World Finals is such a great thing to have. But in that same respect, Reply Totem's final few months, they weren't their greatest, honestly. You know, they're kind of performance questionable somewhat. Yeah, a little bit, you know, losing to SK, you know, in the October or the September monthly finals rather, and then going out from the quarterfinals of October to Bax. That was very uncharacteristically of them.
Again, we saw an experimental draft from this Reply Totem team. So when Chazmac benefited from the change to the draft system, Reply Totem actually believed that they didn't benefit from it. In fact, they had to adapt because they were a team that liked to come out of the gates with really unpredictable compositions, weird brawlers, ones you don't expect. Now when your pick and ban is a bit more telegraphed, it's a bit more of it's easier to get a read on your opponent before the game started. So this team had to adapt. Bringing in Joker was a big difference maker for this team because not only is he an incredibly mechanically gifted player, but he really pitched in on the strategic and the drafting side. He and Inso sort of worked that by committee, and it gave Reply Totem another level of depth. And we saw that, I think, after MSI in the later part of the year. I think this team is really good, but yeah, falling out in a quarterfinal in your home region against a team like Bax who were struggling to sort of maybe make it in, not a great look. We want to see consistency from Reply Totem, at least those that predicted them anyway. I know you and I are just feeling like Vatra's got something special, something we haven't seen, maybe a bit of an X factor. And can I be honest with you? I think Reply Totem looked a little bit nervous last couple of days.
This is something which we get to see, isn't it? It's a great thing to be here for that very reason. We get to see how the teams are. And Reply Totem have been very reserved, very calm. That could go for them, or it could go against them. Vatra have been the exact opposite, again, as one of the more charismatic teams in the BSC. Yes. Very big personalities.
Pulling pranks. I think, like, you look at Bobby's tweet, I think it was like, one Carlos or one of the players was like knocking on Bobby's door at 7 a.m. to like wake him up, getting in his head. They're having a lot of fun here, and that's bound to translate sort of into their play style. Reply Totem on the other end. So this morning I'm walking through the hotel, right? There's like a kids area. It had some like little TVs, cartoons are on there, whatever. The whole kids area is taken up by Reply Totem in their black hoodies and black sweatpants with their iPads out, and they're just getting ready. And I said, so, you know, this is for maybe people a little bit younger. He's like, listen, we couldn't find, you know, the right kind of venue to get everyone together, so we ended up here. I said, but little Timmy wants to watch Shrek. No, not having it. They are very, very serious, and they really wanted to make sure their prep was nailed down.
That's dedication for you, isn't it? You know, work never stops, and ultimately you've got to, you know, make the most of every opportunity. Yeah, exactly. And there are a lot of screaming kids around here in Disneyland Paris, I can assure you. So definitely not the most calm of environments for them to be able to perform.
So Inso, you know, again, sort of relying on some of our conversations with them. This one actually came up in an interview. Shout out to Lucas PS who put the magazine together.
Incredible stuff.
For the World Finals. So big shout out to you. Inso says he thinks that the winner, this is getting ahead of himself. He says the winner of